The Constitution gives us the Fourth Amendment, which protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. So in law enforcement, we have a principle or policy or whatever you want to call it, idea called the fruit of a poisonous tree, which essentially states that if evidence is obtained illegally for a crime, then the whole case can be thrown out because of the initial discovery, right? I say this to say that over the past few years, I've tried to, not necessarily tried, but been, as we all do, discovering what exactly it is that I want in this world and how exactly it is that I want to be in this world, right? Like, what rules do I want to play the game of life by? Which is a whole different subject. But ultimately, I've come to the conclusion that in the same way that the fruit of the poisonous tree is true for evidence, it's true for the foundation of a society. It's true for everything, right? If something is founded it's founded illegitimately, founded in corruption and selfishness and egoistic tendencies, a foundation of benefit for the self rather than the good of society, then no amount of band-aids, policy fixing, or different statutes that you could implement are going to fix your tree per se, right? Because if the initial is the seed and the seed is rotten or seed is poison, then the whole tree is ruined, right? That's the concept for fruit of the poisonous tree. And it reigns true for the current state of our society, at least here in America. I haven't been outside of the US, so I am unable to have a testament towards other countries in the world currently. But just from my experience and understanding of how the world works, it appears to me that we are living in the poisonous tree, right? The corrupt elites and upper echelons of society are literally raping and stealing and molesting children and killing them and sacrificing them. We have evil people in this world. And in our current state of society, a lot of those evil people are the ones who are in charge, who are the ones running it. I can't 100% validate that it was founded that way, but just the current state of it leads me to believe that that is true. It was founded this way, and it was intended to be this way. So I'm often thinking about how I can make a change in the world, right? Be the change I want to see, right? My mind is ambitious. I'm ambitious, so it thinks far ahead, right? And it thinks outside of policy, right? Because I believe every president answers to somebody else, right? So even the president doesn't have the power necessarily to change the current structure of society because he is a part of the structure, right? It's like the roof. If you can't, changing the roof doesn't change the building. It just changes the roof. You have to tear down the whole building. You have to rip out the roots, the foundation. You have to redo the plumbing. You have to redo the rebar under the building if it's corrupt. So my current belief is that we have to tear the whole thing down. I don't think necessarily that we have to tear it down ourselves. I think it would be quicker, but I think it will ultimately tear down itself. And we are living in it. So what I have to remind myself, I'm in no position to tell anyone what they shouldn't do, how they should be or anything. But from my experience and the conclusions I've come to, the best way that I've found to be change and make change is just how you interact with people, right? It's finding self-peace so you can be a light in the world. So you can be someone that people look forward to seeing and talking to. So you could be someone that someone feels comfortable to talk to when they're going through a tough time. You could be someone that they can relate to and I know this is worst case scenario, but if someone's thinking of ending their own life, that you would be the person that they would think to call, right? You'd be the person that they would think maybe they wouldn't want me to do this, right? I know love has been abstracted, tabooed, flipped, and perverted, and all these things, but ultimately love is just idea of seeing others as yourself, right? Having empathy and sympathy to where you can not see other people as separate from yourself. We're all part of a bigger picture. We're all part of the human experience, the human race. We're all living human beings, and we share that. And our lives are a lot more similar. We share a lot more experiences than we tend to admit, right? So that's to say, love is recognition that you're not so different from me, and you're just a guy. I'm just a guy. You're just a lady, just a kid, just people, right? It's not to belittle who you are so much as it is to ground the negativities of the world and small things, right? People have bad days. I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt more than my wife would probably like, right? As far as just dealing with people, family, friends, strangers, whatever. I tend to give the benefit of the doubt in the sense that you have to expect people to be as they are, right? It's insane to expect someone who's shown how they're going to be different. It's not to say they can't change, but to say that you shouldn't expect that change. You should implement or be a catalyst, be an example of the change you want to see. So, big thing for me is recognizing other people's feelings and emotions, right? That's one of the biggest things we could do. And acknowledging them. My dad told me one thing, me and my wife, one thing before we got married. He said, always make more effort to understand than to be understood, right? Because if we're busy all trying to rattle off why we're right and why our feelings are valid, then it just becomes noise. We just get drowned out in the noise. But if everyone listens first, two ears, one mouth, if you listen and look first, 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth, then we're able to perceive and understand before we can before we use our words to form what it is. Because words are what create reality. The words we use are what create the reality we live in, right? So this all to say, I think this current structure of society is damned, and it's cooked, and it's godforsaken, and it's evil, and all these terrible things. But I believe humans have an innate goodness, so we are able to overcome. The current structure of society is purely a collective hallucination that we are all perpetrating and all participating in simultaneously. So we could be the change we want to see just by being the change we want to see. And that's it. Amen.